I should have had a happy family. However, due to my failure to resist the temptation of the delivery guy, it was ruined. My husband is the administrator of a university dormitory. I'm a housewife running an online store at home. My husband's salary is not high, and I'm basically the one supporting the family expenses. When I first started the online store, my husband didn't understand. He believed that everything on the internet was unreliable, but I saw it as a great business opportunity. As long as I managed it carefully, there would be good results. With the continuous increase of income in my bank card, my husband began to support my work.
Initially, the personal family needed to support with ongoing determined need work patterns to really to release the burden. So, he was named from bottom with regret and maybe what left us to take the position of administrator. The person people using the university library for free and money of limited access courses taught at the university.
In the past few months, I've been ordering takeout. This saves a lot of time for business negotiations. Sometimes, at 11 or 12 o'clock at night, there would suddenly be several orders. Every time this happened, I was very excited. I also ordered takeout in the evening. As a result, the communication between me and my husband became less and less. Something always felt off. I've been ordering meals from a restaurant called Sahara Home Cooking. The meal was delivered by a young man in his early 20s because their food was very delicious. I never changed. The delivery person remained the same for a long time. I felt that something was gradually invading my life. Later, the delivery boy fell ill once. A different girl delivered the food. I didn't care much usually, but only after the change did I realize that the young man was good, because this girl's service attitude was extremely poor. Sometimes, she even spilled the food outside. This happened more than once or twice. I asked the girl about the guy who delivered the takeaway and when he would return to work. She replied that the boy wouldn't come. The boss fired him. I asked her why, but the girl didn't say. One day, the young man knocked on my door and asked if I wanted him to deliver my food. We had a chat. I asked why he was fired by his boss. He said he was sick and missed a few days of work. Because he didn't ask for leave, he was fired. I didn't ask anymore. I was concerned about whether his illness was cured. He said he could deliver me some more food, and I agreed. I asked him again if he was still delivering for Sahara Home Cooking. He said it was a branch of Sahara, considering that he was attentive and delivered meals on time, and the food was all Saharan flavored. I didn't ask much. In the next half a year, he delivered the food. No matter how late it was, as long as I called, he would arrive within half an hour. The food was Saharan, but it was even sweeter and more savory than before. Since then, I rarely cooked by myself. It all relied on him. One day, I was out shopping. Before leaving at noon, I went to Sahara restaurant to have lunch. Their boss asked why I hadn't ordered takeout from them for a long time. Was it because their meals weren't good enough? Let me give my comments so that they could improve the cooking skills according to the tastes of customers. I said no, I've been ordering takeout from you in Sahara. It's just your branch. The boss was puzzled when he heard this and said that they were the only store in the city and hadn't opened any branches. He asked me where I heard about it. When I mentioned the young man, the boss said he had already fired him. How could he use their brand to solicit business outside? he told me to call him the next time I saw him. I half-heartedly agreed. I came back 3 days later and called the young man again to order food. Half an hour later, he appeared in front of me. I told him about it. He said he had opened a shop. The brand wasn't Sahara, but because I was a regular customer and often ordered food, he took the initiative to find me. I understood that he wanted to make more money, and so the matter ended. I didn't stop him from delivering food because of this, nor did I call the Sahara's boss to report him. About another month later, when he delivered food, I said I was going on a business trip at noon and wanted to go to his restaurant to eat and pass by his restaurant. He stuttered. At first, I didn't feel anything, but under my repeated requests, he said that the restaurant had closed down a week ago, so I had to give up. I put this matter behind me. I went to order a ticket to be restocked. It was a busy time. Orders were placed quickly. I was going to rent a storefront in the commercial street and was ready to do a big business. My husband supported me. This way, both online and physical sales could be done. It couldn't be better. At night, my husband wasn't at home and rested in the school apartment. This was common. Only when he wanted to be intimate with me would he come home once in a while. Usually, he rarely came. It was like that day as usual, counting from the last time we were intimate. It had been almost half a month, and I couldn't stand it. It was past 10 o'clock when I came home from outside that day and hadn't eaten yet. So, I picked up the phone and dialed the number for food delivery. I ordered a takeaway. Less than half an hour later, he knocked on my door punctually. I saw him carrying the food I wanted, sweating and dusty, while wiping the sweat from his face. He asked me if he was late. I said it wasn't too late. I asked casually if he had opened a restaurant again. He stood up. It wasn't until then that I realized something must be wrong, so I tricked him into sitting in my room for a while and drinking a glass of water before leaving. He agreed, and as soon as he entered the door, I closed the door with lightning speed and loudly questioned him what was going on. Last time you said your store had closed down. How could you still deliver Sahara-style takeaways? I asked him what his purpose was in lying to me like this. The young man was questioned by me and was scared one by one. He kept his head down and didn't dare to make a sound. I continued to ask him if he had made a mistake with the meal. He timidly said this couldn't be. I said if it wasn't this or that, then what the hell did he want to do? He seemed to feel cornered, so he confessed to me, I like you. Is that enough reason to be willing to deliver food to you? I couldn't have imagined this answer anyway. Then I remembered that for almost a year, he had been coming and going to deliver food to me. Every time he came, he always had a smile on his face and smiled at me. So, I was a little convinced. Thinking about the life I'd lived during this time, it was hectic and busy. I didn't look like a housewife at all. I sent all the children to boarding school. I asked him where he got the food. He said he made it himself ever since it started. It had been like this. As for opening a restaurant, he made it up. I was a little touched by what he said. I also needed to be cared for, and his tireless love warmed me. I asked him if I didn't find out or didn't ask him, then what would he do? He said he would always serve me silently like this until he was exhausted. I said I had a family and it was impossible to accept this kind of love from him. He said he didn't expect me to accept it either, just hoping to hug me one day or even kiss me, and he would be content. I didn't think it could go on like this, so I agreed to his request. He came up and hugged me and kissed my earlobe. I almost melted in his arms, and just like that, we collapsed on the bed. To be honest, he didn't have any skills, but his young body and amazing physical strength still made me feel wave after wave. I was in a daze all night, thinking about the young man who delivered the food, his immature face and increasingly skilled technique.